They said to me, "I bet you're glad to be a Canadian where it's safe to be a lesbian." They couldn't understand why I laughed. "But you can marry who you want. They can't fire you for being gay. They can't legally discriminate against you or forbid you to go places. You are safe. You can be out of the closet. Lesbians have it easy, especially compared to gay men. You don't have to worry about STDs." I laughed again with tears in my eyes. "You can wear your hair short and put on men's clothes, and no one bats an eye. You are free to express yourself any way you want. Men love lesbians. Just look at all the lesbian porn out there. How could they not?" I am proud to be a Canadian, and I am grateful for the steps that have been made, and I cheer for the younger people who are oblivious to the sacrifices that the older generations of dykes have gone through. But I know this country is far from safe. This younger generation has yet to taste what the old ones know. No matter how many laws are created to protect us, no matter how many rights and that women and gays have fought for, it still can't overcome the millennium of inborn misogynistic stereotypes. How can the straight population overcome this when we within our rainbow community still struggle on a daily basis? We try and shun the stereotypes and gender roles that are forced upon us, but secretly cleave to them in dark corners. Safe? I wonder what safe feels like. Freedom? I often wonder about that too. "But there are laws to protect you," they cry out. These laws are great. They protect me from open discrimination, but it does nothing to shield me from the bias and hatred that people hold in their hearts. These stereotypes that people try to quantify you in when you are unquantifiable. If we're so safe, why is the next generation of gay men and gay women dying? We have come a long way, but I still have to deal with on a daily basis discrimination, and worse yet, so does my daughter. Because I am gay, my daughter has to deal with the ramifications, and there are laws to protect her too. But that doesn't stop her teacher from suddenly having no space for parental help in the classroom. She's too young to see it, because in her world, I am her world, and there is nothing wrong with me. She accepts that there is no room for another parent because she can't comprehend that there wouldn't be room for just her mommy. She rationalized that her teacher must have had a chill when she buttoned up her sweater in that boiling hot classroom when I walked in the door. She doesn't understand that the reason she can't have her classmates come over for a sleepover is not that I'm a single mom and I can't handle the carnage and ruckus of 10-year-old girls screaming and squealing, but that in some people's mind, the word lesbian is confused with the word pedophile. Because she knows without a shadow of a doubt that her mommy is safe, she can't comprehend how anyone could think that of me. She doesn't understand I am protecting her from the discrimination. She thinks it's funny when people assume that she is the daughter of whoever partner that I'm with because I have short hair and tattoos and couldn't possibly ever been married to a man. She doesn't know that people assume that I left him because I'm a lesbian and not the fact that he's an abusive alcoholic. She doesn't know that people can't wrap their minds around the fact that the moment my uterus was split open, I ceased to become an individual, that my life was now centered in its entirety around the life that I was responsible for because my body had created it. And because I was her mom. Because she's young, I can keep her safe from people like these. But she's growing older now. And she asks questions like, "Why don't you join Christian Mingle to find a new girlfriend since you are now single?" In her mind, it only makes sense because we read the Bible, she goes to church with my parents, we sing grace, and we love God. Why wouldn't I want to find a nice Christian lady to settle down with through Christian Mingle? She can't understand that in some people's mind, because I'm a lesbian, God doesn't want me. And she doesn't understand that for a very long time. I believed that too. I don't tell her about watching my Christian sisters ostracize my older friend who was a lesbian before I even knew what the word lesbian was. I don't tell her about hiding myself and my shame like Adam and Eve hiding from God in the garden because these feelings that I had in my heart I believed were wrong. That if God found out, he would toss me out into the wilderness and turn himself from me. Eventually, I realized how silly it was to hide from God because he knew my thoughts. And I spent hours on my knees praying and crying because I just wanted to be normal. She doesn't know that for the longest time I believed that I wasn't worthy of God's love because I didn't pray long enough or hard enough or sacrifice enough. That the endless hours of bargaining with God that I would do anything He wanted if He would just take this desire to be loved by a woman from me. Not sex. Just love. She doesn't know how careful I am to guard myself around the straight community. How can I explain that on the days that my soul feels like it's being ripped from my body and all I want to do is cry on a friend's shoulder and be hugged, that I can't do this because I'm worried of what they might think of me? That somehow my desire as a human being and for human contact is superseded and replaced by my fear of having another woman think that I desire her for anything more than a hug to ease my pain. That society and myself has dehumanized me and classified me as only my sexual orientation. That for the longest time I believed that I was unworthy of love and couldn't love myself because I believed that I was truly unlovable. When I realized that God didn't hate me for being gay, that He had created me this way, and it was okay, I felt a piece of my life and a piece of my soul return to me. I wept in church out of joy for being in the presence of God because I had preemptively shunned Him because I thought God forgot about me. I wept again because so many of His followers believe that because I'm a lesbian, I should be shunned. I wept for them selflessly because I was afraid that they wouldn't understand what they had done before the time of reckoning. And I wept because the rainbow community, in it, I am shunned because I am a Christian. Why wouldn't they hate God? They have been told, just as I had, that God wouldn't love them. Why would they love someone who's responsible for the deaths of so many people, when in His sight they are an abomination? That love can be punishable by death. But we all fall short of the glory of God, and we are all sinners, they cry out. When has holding hands been such a sin? Take sex out of the equation and I'm still a lesbian. I will seek my solace in the arms of a woman. This is what is natural to me, and therefore not an abomination and not an unnatural desire. How can I feel free in a country where people view me as a dyke first and a mother second?